This is a bonus example. In fact, it's a question that you're going to see in MyMathLab. And I get a lot of questions over it, so I thought I would just put it in the notes and do an example. So it says a telescope contains a parabolic mirror and a hyperbolic mirror. So you can see in this diagram here, and by the way, I think it's number 11, but if it changes, you're going to be able to tell because of the picture, right? So we have a parabolic mirror and a hyperbolic mirror. And so we can see here, it tells me the red is your parabola. This blue is your hyperbola. Now we always have two hyperbolas, and so that's why we have a second focus right here. We technically have the other half of that hyperbola is over here, but it's not necessary, so we don't have it in our diagram. And they share focus 1, which is 47 feet above the vertex of the parabola. So I'm going to draw that in. As I read these, I'm going to draw it in. They both share focus 1, and the length from the focus to the vertex of the parabola is 47 feet. So from here to here is 47. The hyperbolic's second focus, F2, is 7 feet above the parabola's vertex. So from here to here is 7. And the vertex of the hyperbolic mirror is 3 feet above F1. So the hyperbolic's vertex is 3 feet below F1. Okay, so we have 3, 7, and 47. And then it goes on to say, find the equation of the find the equation of the hyperbola if the center is at the origin of the coordinate system and the foci are on the y-axis. So because the center is at the origin, I know the center is in between my two foci when it comes to my hyperbola. So that's going to be right here in the center somewhere. And let me put that C on the other side. Not super important, but okay. C right here. And the foci are on the y-axis. So what those two things tell me, my transverse axis is the y-axis. And because the center is at the origin, I am using y squared over a squared minus x squared over b squared equals 1. So now we need to find of our hyperbola, and that's what it told us to do, right? Find the equation of the hyperbola, not the parabola. So find the equation of hyperbola. So here's what we're using. So I need my A, B, and C for my hyperbola. Okay. So I actually don't have any of these yet, but we can find them based off the information I am given. What's the distance? Let me go in red now. So blue here is kind of all the stuff we were given. Red is the stuff that we are finding. And I can find the distance here between these two foci. And what would that distance there be? So pause the video if you want some more time. This distance right here is going to be 40. How did we get that? Well, if the distance from foci to vertex is 47, and the distance from this focus to this vertex is 7, subtract the 2 and we get 40. Now C is the distance between the center and your focus. So if from focus to focus is 40, then half of that distance right here is going to be 20. And so that is my C. We can also find A. A is the distance between my vertex and my center. And what would that number be? Pause the video if you want some more time to look at that and think. So this is obviously not to scale, but if this entire distance is 20, and the distance from my focus to my vertex is 3, subtract 20 and 3, and we're going to get a distance here of 17. And center to my vertex represents my A. So now we have A to plug into here. We need to find B, and so we will do that by using B squared equals C squared minus A squared. So B squared equals C squared is 400 minus A squared is 289. Subtract, and we get B squared equals 111. Now you can take the square root to get what B is, but all I need is B squared for this formula, and I have that. So now my formula, I guess, well, it doesn't matter, is y squared over a squared. A squared is 289 minus x squared over b squared, which we just found to be 111, equals 1. So what I recommend is drawing just a rough sketch of this. When you get to this in your homework, put all that information you have and then start seeking the stuff that you need based off of that information to then build your equation.